It's a beautiful day. Beautiful day. But guys, let's talk a little bit about the Carolina Panthers. Let's talk about the Carolina Panthers. The NFC South is a division that I think many people are sleeping on. I think the Carolina Panthers are a team that many people could be potentially sleeping on. Do I think they're going to be great? Nah. Do I think they're going to be bad? Meh. I think they're going to be a middle-of-the-road team, and I think the Carolina Panthers have an opportunity to be competitive in a lot of games. When I say an opportunity, that is mainly because of their defense. Their defense. The Carolina Panthers last season and this year's preseason versus the New England Patriots, where they played absolutely horrible. I believe Nash Prod said they had like 17 false starts. Ridiculous. But the good shining part about the Carolinas this season is their defense. Last season, when they were riddled by injuries, right? JC went down. A lot of notable defensive linemen. Shaq went down. Their defensive depth kind of held their own a little bit. They held their own, and they kept them somewhat close in a lot of games. Yes, the Carolina Panthers offense was horrendous last season. Yes, they did finish the season 2-15. Yes, they did do a lot of bad things, but the defense seemed to keep them in a lot of games. They were really only blown out of a couple games last season, right? When you look at the scorebooks, really only one game they were really blown out, and that's the Detroit Lions game and the Miami Dolphins game, both on the road. Come by week 6, 7 last season, they come up and they beat Houston. They lose to the Colts by 8. They lose to the Bears by 3. They got beat down by the Cowboys because it's the Cowboys, right? They lose by 7, 3, 7. They were in a lot of games. Their defense is the good part of the Carolina Panthers. Their defense is going to let them compete in a lot of games this season. Their defense is going to be why they have some big upsets this season. But on the other side of the good, there's always the bad. There is always the bad of the Carolina Panthers. And their bad is their offensive line. Their offensive line is not good. Not good at all. When you look flashback to 2022 into 2023, they had all 5 linemen returning to their roster. Right? Second-year head coach. Bryce Young's rookie year got a back second-year starting 5 offensive line. They were shit. They were terrible. This was a team that couldn't stop a bloody nose. This was a team that allowed the most sacks in the NFL. This was a team that did not have the same starting 5 more than 20% of the snaps last season. They were injured and they're not very deep. And this year is much of the same. So far, they're injured and not very deep. They dressed 7 linemen for a preseason 1 game. 7. You start 5. They don't have very much depth on the offensive line, and that is bad news for the Carolina Panthers. And then you look at the ugly. The good, the bad, the ugly. The ugly is their quarterback room. Their quarterback room is bad. Yes, I know Bryce Young did not play this preseason game. Yes, I know Andy Dalton is an old veteran. I get it. But Jack Plummer, I believe he's a Louisville Cardinal. He looked bad. He looked lost. Held the ball on forever. Jake Luton come in and kind of in relief, kind of did somewhat good. I mean, yeah, he was 7.49 for 38 yards, 4.2 average. But you're not going to live and die off Luke Luton, are you? Throwing for 38 yards on nine attempts. The quarterback room is going to cause them a lot of issues this season. If Bryce Young, God forbid, happens to miss a game or 2, Andy Dalton isn't going to save the team. Jack Plummer isn't going to save the team. Jake Luton isn't going to shade the team. The Carolina Panthers quarterback room might be worse than the Las Vegas Raiders. Let's just be honest. But a bright point, like my man Ant just said, they have an underrated wide receiver core. Leggett, Dante Johnson from Pittsburgh, and Adam Thielen had a pretty good season last year. So Dante Johnson, they did get in a trade from the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm kind of curious to see what he will do, see how he will intertwine with this old wide receiver core. Adam Thielen did have a record-setting year last year for him, a career high in his 10th season. However, the reason why he had a record career or a career year, because he was the only receiver, right? They do have Xavier Leggett. Am I saying that right? Leggett. He is that rookie prodigy that's a very southern accent, right? He has gone viral on many clips. But Jonathan Mingo might be the true undercard there for the Carolina Panthers. He's going into his third year, and he could potentially blow up this season. So if you have a late draft pick in the fantasy, might want to look at him, right? Jonathan Mingo.